All right, this is 11 honors. We just took a quiz on chapters 3 through 5, and we're going to review the questions, maybe all we do. We have 20 minutes. I'll give you some more reading to do for Monday. Chapter 2, question number 18. Who is Henry Clerval? This is still early.
Wait, 18?
Yeah, did these?
I thought 18 was what field of study did the
That's it?
17 is...
Okay. So what field of study was he interested in?
Like science.
Science.
Chemistry.
Right, the origins of things. These two guys are alchemists. Do you know what that means?
Scientists kind of people.
Say that again.
Like scientists kind of.
Science is not religion.
But like magic.
Very good. It was medieval science, which was more like superstition than what we know as science, and like magicians and things. But that's the term. Alchemists tried to figure out how to turn metals into gold. You know, it's not possible, but that's what they spent their time. So he was fascinated with that. And what effect did witnessing the violent thunderstorm have on him?
Oh, he changed his... Wait, which one is that?
It's 20.
20? He changed his interest of science and the math.
Yeah, and I'm not sure she made it really clear why that happened that way, but it was seeing something practical and powerful, as opposed to sort of the crazy ideas that the chemists had. You know, the ideas of turning metals into that can't happen and nothing you can do. But he did see the power of fact, and so he went to something more factual. 21. Where is he going to college?
University of Ingolstadt.
Which is in Germany, which is close to where he lives. He lives in Geneva, which is in Switzerland, and Ingolstadt is west. Germany is. What tragic event happened before he left home?
His mom died.
And how did she die?
She got sick.
And how did she get sick?
Elizabeth had scarlet fever.
So she was taking care of her. It seems like it's unfair, but she gave her life for her mother. And I just make a note of this. I made a note in the book. Mary Shelley lost her mother after a week of being alive. You know, so she doesn't remember her mother at all. But her mother essentially died in childbirth, complications from childbirth, which used to happen a lot more than it does now, thankfully. All right, who are M. Kremke and M. Waldman? I didn't ask for a lot here, but could you tell me who they were? Were able to tell me who they were?
Weren't they like professors?
They were.
Professors at
Right.
his school, and he brought up that he read, what were the names? That he read
Agrippa and
Yeah.
Magnus and Paracelsus.
He's like calling him
I'm sorry.
like they told him that it was like bad.
Yes, they both told him that, but which one was the nicer of the two? Waldman. He actually gave those guys credit for, even though they were wrong, for being experimenters and risk takers. And he says, today, science rests on their mistakes we've learned. So Kremke is the one who just said, you need to start all over. He was much harsher. And so he liked Waldman better. Let's see if there's anything in that chapter, any other things in that chapter. What seems to be his greatest motivation, besides just the knowledge of, he likes to learn things, but what is he really looking out for? Do you remember what is it that motivates him to do something different, to do something new? He wants to be famous. He wants the glory of it. And so it's very selfish. He wants to be famous and be known as someone who invented something or found something. And they did that. You're able to do that through real science rather than the science of alchemy and that kind of thing. All right, so I think that's the odd thing about it, because Waldman was so kind. It inspired him more to discover and experiment, and which led him to, of course, discovering the life. So look at 4. What kind of science did Victor like the best?
Wasn't it like natural philosophy?
Yeah.
And, like, a little bit of chemistry?
Okay, natural philosophy is just what they used to call science.
Chemistry.
And so it was chemistry, yeah. And because Waldman helped him to see that. What did the study of science offer that other studies did not? Look on page 48, if you have that in front of you. I think we're on the same page. I have a different. Well, we might not be. Chapter 4 begins on page 48 for me. Is that the case for you?
It's 29.
Okay, so we're way off. So try to find that. It's the second paragraph. He says, in other studies other than chemistry, you can go as far as others have gone before you, and there's nothing more to know. But a scientific pursuit, there is continual food for discovery and wonder. So he likes science because you can discover new things instead of other disciplines where you're just studying what other people did or said. And he was planning to go home when what happened. By the way, he learned also the science of anatomy, which makes sense. What did he discover?
This is what
All right, it's I don't know what page it is. If it starts on page 29, then it's probably 30 or 31. But remember, I am not recording the vision of a madman.
Oh, yeah.
At the bottom of that, he says, I succeeded in discovering the cause of generation and life. Nay, more, I became myself capable of bestowing animation upon lifeless matter. Who's speaking now? Who's talking?
Victor?
Right. And so who's he talking to?
Is he talking to the guy that rescued him?
Walton, yes. And why doesn't he tell Walton? He doesn't tell Walton how to do it. He said, I learned how to create life. But he doesn't tell Walton why.
Because later he's like, it ruined me. Or like he was talking about it, and he was like, he invested himself so much in it, and he created something like so disturbing.
Yes.
It wasn't right.
Right. Let's pause just a minute. Is it possible for man to create life? I mean, create life. That's not what happens when babies are born. I mean, that's what happens when babies are born and conceived, but it's not something we understand. We're not capable of doing that in a test tube or something like that. So the answer is no. Just theologically speaking, where does life come from? If you're believers, where does life come from? So before you were born, you didn't exist except in the mind of God. And when you were conceived, we don't understand. I mean, we're not told the details, don't know the details. But God bestows life. And do you know what the soul is? And where does the soul come from? See, that's one thing that bothers me about the book. How could you... He doesn't say he creates a soul. He creates life. And there is no life, human life, outside of a soul. So what is the soul? Yeah, God creates it. I don't know if you're even interested in this, but some religions believe that there's like a number of souls in heaven, and like when you're born, he just picks one of the souls out and he puts it in you somehow. That's not what Christian... The Bible is never that clear about it, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's clear that when you were created, God created a new soul for you and put it in there.
It's just like inside out, the souls. It's like the memory balls and their souls. And
Well, what is it? Again, I don't want to be morbid, but this was not morbid, but I remember seeing my mother-in-law pass away. Wasn't in the room when my mother died or my father, but I was able to see my mother-in-law. And what shocked me, and we'd been expecting it, it wasn't a surprise, but what surprised me was that when she passed away, I knew she wasn't in the room, but her body was still there. I knew she was gone. She was not here. And, it sort of made me realize you can't even take your body with you. You can't take anything. You can't take your bank account. We know all that. What about our body? We carry it everywhere we go. How about you? Does your body go everywhere you go? Yeah. Not here. It's just interesting to realize we take nothing but our soul. We spend so much time during our life worried about that, making it healthy. Well, that's good. That's something we should do. What it looks like. But, some people almost idolize it and try to preserve it, like it, just make sure it lasts forever. And then when it's over, we don't even take our body with us. We hear a lot of things. It's my body, I can do what I want to with it. Well, I'm glad we have the freedoms that we have, but it's just simple. That's not really true. It's not yours. It's on loan to you. And when you die, you're only taking your soul with you. So why do we spend so much time on this when your soul never dies? We don't spend enough attention. Anyway, one thing that bothers me is, where did his soul come from? Like, he can't be a living, like zombies. What are zombies? They're silly, because that cannot be, right? There's no way a body without a soul can live.
Zombies don't souls, right?
What?
Theoretically. I know zombies are real. But if a person dies and they become a zombie, does their soul leave, or do they keep their soul? Because you can't live without a soul, right?
So this is where your theology comes in.
the way my brain went to animals or bugs that they are alive but they don't have souls.
Right.
Their body is physically functioning.
Yes.
But they're not there.
That's right.
So
They're not like what?
there.
Would you say that again, that word?
They're not there.
T-H-E-R-E. What do you mean they're not there?
Them as a
They're not self-conscious.
person is
They can't make decisions. As smart as your dog is, he's just a dog, and he can't work. He figures things out in a sense, because by instinct and repetition, but he can't make decisions to go left instead of right. Not consciously. We can. We're conscious of ourselves.
Serious? Because my dog decides to steal everything from my room once a day.
Well, but he does it by instinct. He does it because he's wired that way. Not that he, what am I going to do today? He doesn't self.
She thinks it out. She sits on the couch and she thinks about it. She's like, Sierra's leaving, I'm going upstairs and I'm eating her food. She thinks about it.
Well, she could figure it out without thinking about it. She's leaving. I've seen this before. She's not going to be here for a while. He knows what happens. I'm going to go up there. You could trick him. You could show up. I told you not to come up here. Anyway, that's what he discovers. I think it's fun to think about it. Number 27. According to Victor, why will he not tell Walton the secret? I think we answered that, but let's answer it again.
It's because he doesn't want him to ruin.
He didn't want him to try the same thing. And why does Mary Shelley not tell us the secret?
She doesn't want people to try
She
it.
doesn't know.
Plus, there isn't one, Yeah, she wouldn't if she knew one, but she doesn't know one any more than anybody knows. Nobody knows how to do that. Anyway, that's 27. 28, and attempting to create a human being. Yeah, I thought this was cool. Why does he make him 8 feet tall? It's really very practical. I thought this was clever on her part. There's a practical reason why he made him 8 feet tall. If he's 8 feet tall, then everything has to be bigger, right? All the things that a human being has, all our 2,000 body parts have to be bigger, right?
Yeah.
What's the advantage for the creator that is Frankenstein?
Is it so like? I said I didn't know if this was right because when I was I read this. Actually, I think I might have skipped this somehow. Cause like.
Thank you for being honest.
Cause like I read chapter 4, but like I don't know why chapter 3 and chapter 5 my brain processed it, but chapter 4 it didn't. But so I guessed, and I was like, maybe it's because when you create something, like you want to be able to like to see the way it functions, so it's like bigger in the body.
Yes,
I don't know if
that's he
that's
says,
right,
listen to this. It's the paragraph, I don't know what page it is. As the minuteness of parts formed a great hindrance to my speed, I resolved, contrary to my first intention, to make the being of gigantic nature, so about 8 feet. It's harder to work little things than big things, so everything could be bigger, and it would be easier to put together. It's really very practical, and you said it. You know, that was you can't see the little things so much, but you can see the big things. And I want to read this. I wish I could find it for you. Look at the end of the chapter. Find the end of the chapter, chapter 4, and let's work backwards. My father, that's the last one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you count 7, it says, no one can conceive the variety of feelings. All right, so we don't have much time. We have less than 5 minutes, about 4 minutes. But let me read it for you. I'm going to skip down 4 lines. A new species would bless me as its creator and source. Many happy and excellent natures would owe their being to me. No father could claim the gratitude of his child so completely as I should deserve theirs. Pursuing this reflection, I thought, if I could bestow animation upon lifeless matter, I might, in process of time, renew life where death had apparently devoted the body to corruption. So it says, I don't know if this is one of the questions, but what is one of the benefits of being able, he thinks, and being able to create life? What happens when people die? What could he do for them? He could bring them back to life, which is again absurd, but that's what he's thinking. Nobody would ever die. He could always bring them back to life. It's almost like a fountain of youth. Look at 29. According to Victor, how dangerous is the acquirement of knowledge? And it's on that same page, I think. I don't know if it is on that page. It's on the previous page. Yeah, it is on the previous page, but you could probably, let me read it to you. How dangerous is the acquirement of knowledge? It doesn't say the particular knowledge, but why can a little knowledge, have you heard this? A little knowledge can be a dangerous thing?